From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 4th, 2016. Silver is trading at $18.64 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,306 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $612. Antiwar.com reports for the second time in a year the Taliban has captured the major northern Afghan city of Kunduz, pushing into the city overnight and capturing the center of the city, the provincial capital of the Kunduz province, and sending the Afghan forces scrambling to react. Fighting has continued throughout the day, and while some officials are claiming that they've retaken the central square itself, the fighting is ongoing, and the Taliban has shown time and again that once they get into these cities, it isn't easy to expel them. The Pentagon says U.S. troops are ready to assist in the fighting over the city, saying that a number of U.S. enablers are already in the area to provide whatever support the government seeks. The last Taliban raid in late 2015 saw them holding Kunduz for months. Kunduz is one of 3 provincial capitals in Afghanistan that are facing imminent attacks by the Taliban, with their forces also having advanced over the past few days towards the outskirts of the city of Lashkar-Gah and Tarin-Kot. When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports Ohio will resume executions next year with a new 3-drug combination for lethal injections following a 3-year hiatus caused by difficulties in obtaining the drugs used previously. Dan Tierney, a spokesman for the Ohio Attorney General's office, said Assistant State Attorney General Thomas Madden told a federal judge that the state will file details of protocol change related to executions this week, according to USA Today. In October 2015, Ohio said it would postpone scheduled executions until at least 2017 due to the dwindling availability of the drugs used for lethal injection. The problem worsened after many compounding pharmacies, which had previously supplied the drugs, refused to sell them to prison officials on legal and ethical grounds. The European Union voted in 2011 to ban the sale of pentobarbital to the United States over its use in executions. The next death row inmate scheduled for execution is Ronald R. Phillips, who was convicted of raping and beating a 3-year-old girl to death in 1993. Phillips was originally set to die on January 12th, but his scheduled execution date was pushed back to January 12, 2017. Ohio's last execution was January 2014 when Dennis McGuire was put to death. Witnesses to his execution said it took up to 25 minutes for McGuire to die and that the inmate appeared to gasp for air during the process. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a federal judge in Nevada said professional race car driver Scott Tucker and several of his companies owe $1.27 billion to the Federal Trade Commission after systematically deceiving payday lending customers about the cost of their loans. In a decision late on Friday, Chief Judge Gloria Navarro of the federal court in Las Vegas, Nevada, said Tucker was specifically aware that the customers often did not understand the terms of their loans and was at least recklessly indifferent towards how those loans were marketed. Navarro wrote, Scott Tucker did not participate in an isolated discrete incident of deceptive lending, but engaged in sustained and continuous conduct that perpetuated the deceptive lending since at least 2008. The judge also barred Tucker from engaging in consumer lending. Lawyers for Tucker did not immediately respond on Monday to a request for comment. Tucker had argued that there was no fraud or intent to deceive, and that his loans met industry standards. The FTC on Monday asked Navarro to direct the turnover of some previously frozen assets to help satisfy the judgment. Tucker, who races in the United States and Europe, faces separate criminal charges in Manhattan, where prosecutors accused him of running a $2 billion payday lending scheme that exploited 4.5 million customers. A trial in that case is scheduled for April 17th. Tucker pled not guilty in February of this year. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.